So here it is, guys, the Arcway. This place is intense, absolutely intense. It's probably extremely overtuned right now, but as you can see, we're just getting railed from beginning to end. This place is awesome, though. Best dungeon by far. Lots of going on. Entertaining. Even the bosses are all completely different. This trash here is just absolutely insane too. You can see it keeps splitting into smaller and smaller mobs, and each time you kill one, it turns into this pool of shit. So you gotta kite it too. Very fun tanking dungeon. Since this video, this is the only completion video that I have on this. Every other group I've been in, the tank has just gotten destroyed. And you'll see it to me also. I do end up getting knocked around. I did edit out a few of the wipes on this, just so it would be ease of access. But yes, we did wipe on this, and we wiped a lot on certain trash. You'll see coming up, we have some where we're facing off on Legion mobs, and certain mobs in there, they cast Chaos Bolt. And this Chaos Bolt literally would wreck me for 75% of my health. Something you gotta watch for is what needs to be interrupted. It's a dangerous place, guys. Currently, it's beautiful. This green slime here jumps to somebody, cast Consume. Didn't notice much on it, but the purple ones, god damn, do they hurt, especially when they split. So we're gonna take a path off to the right here, and we're just heading into all this different groups. Again, this green slime, it didn't do much. But everything else in here is just outstanding. The mobs are it's a great dungeon, guys. It's really a BC feel. You've got a real open setup on where you can end up going. It's dangerous. If you pull it wrong, you're gonna die. You'll see on these rats, they kind of, even with aggro, they split off, and they'll run to somebody and they just eat them alive. Look at how much damage is actually going out. I almost die here. Both demon hunters died. I'm sorry. And the group in that I've got here was absolutely superb. Our monk healer was top notch. The damage was top notch. Even some of us were still in here. This was my first run through. I had no idea on what to end up doing on this. And again, I've been in here, I've healed it. It is absolutely insane to heal. The damage, you have to be spot on with your interrupts, and you also have to watch for certain abilities. You'll see there's a blueberry up there, that void guy. He's gonna cast a deal called Arcane Cutter, Soul Cutter, something like that, and he's gonna face a direction. And it's troll worthy. If you're not paying attention, this thing ticks on you once and you're a DPS or a healer, you're gonna die. Pay attention to where this guy's facing. This is half the reason why they reduce the amount of abilities you have. So you've got people that aren't focusing down on their keyboard, so they can get more punishing abilities taken to them. Now watch this guy. Alright, this whole place, as you can see, I just put down it's a challenge, but look at the way he's facing, okay? You see that? That arcane slicer? Boom. What happened? Demon Hunter got wrecked, and it was hilarious. I laughed through this whole entire place just because of how troll-worthy a lot of these abilities were. I can't say nothing about it, but this dungeon, even though it was hard, and it took us full completion on this setup. We had a very patient, very good group. We only lost one of the demon hunters, and guess what we got? We got another demon hunter in this dungeon. It is a level 110 dungeon, and we are scaled up to 810. Now you saw the second boss there. We kind of skipped over this trash pool here. You'll see that I could have done this better, guys. I could have probably tried to LOS into the hallway, see if it was gonna work, but instead I ran around like a chicken with my head cut off because this was my first time in, trying to see what to do. I figured they'd come together, had no idea they were gonna stand out there and just punish us. And again, another troll-worthy event coming up. Boom! See how painful that slicer is? It's amazing. It's amazing. If you aren't paying attention, if you're just tunneling, you're gonna die. As you can see, I just enjoying the hell out of this. Again, this pull here, these little guys, and I don't know if line of sighting is gonna work on them or not, but it probably would have worked better than the way that I did this. I tried silencing and getting them grouped up that way, and you will see that the poor elemental shaman dies, and it's not his fault, it is completely mine, because I just didn't know how to tank this setup. First time in here, had no clue. Again, only time I completed this. Every other time, someone would get pissed off and they'd leave, no patience. You can tell where this group was more than likely a bunch of mythic raiders that had the patience to end up going through it. And it shouldn't be at that point to where only a mythic raid group, this is all a pickup group. Everybody there, I waited in queue for this just like everybody else. I didn't have anybody with me. It's really rough, guys. And it shouldn't be that way. So this is where I'm saying it's overtuned. It is completely overtuned because the standard group's not going to do this dungeon, and they are not going to do it correctly. We have a lot of deaths in here. We had a lot of wipes going through and testing, and that's with us trying to learn it. But being top tier mythic raiders, I'm almost going to guarantee that most of the people in here were that way just because of the way that they played. They stayed through it. They stayed patient. They went through. I think we lost one of the demon hunters due to a DC, and that was it. And then at the very end, we lost another one due to a DC. So I don't know if they just bailed and disconnected, plug pulled, whatever you want to call it. But that was, you know, what we ended up doing. And it did take us about an hour and a half to complete this thing all the way through. This is the first boss. I don't really know what it's supposed to be doing. It casts Arcane Blast till it's out of mana, and then it changed into some ugly little thing. Now, you've got this triangle thing here. The lines are actually, it'll connect to 3 random people. Doesn't matter who it is, tank, healer, it'll choose somebody. Now, what you're looking at in this is you want to stay as close as possible, because after it goes, you're going to get this pool of arcane shit that's there. And you can see he ran out of mana and he turns into this ugly little dude. At this point, the fight is boring. The first half of this fight was intense. It was great. You were getting pummeled. Me being the tank, having to run into the group and try and do all this funky stuff while just getting punched in the face and hit with Arcane Blast and taking all this damage. It was awesome. But this part of it, well, just look. I mean, it's got some AoE damage. Not a lot of it at that. Again, our monk healer was fantastic, so he handled it like a boss. But there's not a lot of damage going on. He has a little bit of a buff, and I think that has to do with some abilities he does in the first phase. So you really want to nuke through that first phase as quick as possible so he doesn't get buffed further. But this part here was just lame. Nothing important on it at all. But you'll see us skip, and now we're coming up to the second boss. Now this guy was cool. He had a lot to deal with, and it didn't look like the mechanics were being handled 100% correctly. But he has multiple different deals. He's going to pummel you. Obviously, if you're tanking, do this shit right. Face him away. I've seen a lot of tanks in the alpha right now, and I don't know if they're just testing or if they're not used to it. But they're facing them towards the group, and everything in this damn game right now in the Legion Alpha seems to cleave in some sort of way or do a frontal cone. It doesn't matter what it is. Hell, there's snails in the Eye of Ashara that are like a 3-yard, 4-yard range are going to nuke you. So if you're a DPS, be behind it. If you're a tank, be in front of it, and you can still avoid most of this cleave stuff. Now, you've noticed a few times here, you see the puddles? The puddles are supposed to be picked up by your DPS. Nobody's really picking them up. And what it is he's going to do multiple mechanics. The puddles are going to give you a haste buff, I believe, and then he does that little draw-in that you're seeing me run from. When you go in, it does damage to you, but it's because it's cleansing. And what the cleanse does is actually removing the removing that buff that you get from the puddles. And I think you can end up staying away from them long enough to where you can just stack them and stack them and stack them. But if you get in close, it's going to do more damage. And I don't know if it... the other thing was that quarantine. You saw that little crystal pop up. You're going to see those periodically in this fight also, to where it's picking a certain person. It's just locking them down. You walk over, you click the damn thing. They're free. That's it. Had a lot of missing on that mechanic also, and you can see me as a tank. I'm going back and forth grabbing it. But really, it's avoid shit. stand in the puddles in this one, oddly, and then you're going to end up wanting to stay out of the not the quarantine, but the cleanse, the little drawing mechanic. If you've got any kind of speed mechanic or something that'll get you out, make sure you use it and you end up getting out. Now we're going to be heading back through the trash here. Alright, these bigger guys, not too bad, but they do another troll-worthy little mechanic here. They put down this puddle, and your location where you can actually go is so small without pulling extras. They do have an interruptible deal. I believe it's like a siphon essence. I want to say it's an AoE, kind of like the first boss. Nothing too big. As you can see, we're not having too much trouble with this trash here. We've got a few more pulls coming up. And most of this, again, first time in here, so I had no idea where I was going. This place is huge. You have 4 different zones in one 5-man dungeon, if that tells you anything. And it changes. You've got your intro where you've got the slimes. You've got these arcane dudes. You can see the damage that's just beating me up here. And I do end up dying on a few of these, but I'm cutting out the walk of shame, guys, if I end up dying. But most of the time, again, healer was spot on. I think my tanking does all right, and our DPS were really good. There's just a lot of things that could catch you off guard really quick. So, but I do end up having to use a lot of my big cooldowns just to get through the trash here. Don't be afraid to use them, guys. That's why they're there. So we're going to come up here and make a little left. And you can go any direction you want. You can go to any boss you want. These spiders, they do a lot of good damage. You can have to pull all 3 of these sections. You can see the boss hanging up there. She doesn't do anything until after, so. And you'll see we're getting in here right now. Getting down and dirty, picking them up. They kind of have a small fixate right at the beginning, but you burn them down, boom, boom, boom. You can see they're exploding, doing damage. Nothing real heavy, and this is normal. That's another reason why I say this is way overtuned. But every time you end up killing these guys, you'll kill these little spiders, and then you'll get a group of spiders. And it looked like every time you killed one, an additional spider would come up out of those small packs. So you'd kill a small pack of spiders, and the first one you'd get 3. I believe this next one drops, there's 4 that come after. So don't go chain pulling like crazy, because if you chain pull these thinking, oh, that's it, you're wrong. And it's going to kill you. It's going to kill you dead. And you should see, there should be 4 of them that come down. See, and I thought I was going to get away with a chain pull and be like, yeah, I'm Superman. So, and I believe the next one's either 5 or 6. I can't remember if it gained 2 or just another additional one. But it's progressive. It doesn't matter which way you come through. It's going to depend on how many of these which one you end up pulling. So could you imagine pulling this whole room with all those spiders and then having, what, 6, 4, so what, 13 spiders roughly, big spiders? Having those all come down at one time, it would be insane. Not to mention all the AoE from these little guys exploding. Maybe towards the end of Legion, but currently right now, that is not a good idea. Yeah, and the 5 of them. So you're looking at, what, 12 spiders. Don't do it, guys. Don't pull the whole thing. Be good with it. Do your pulls right. And make sure that you've got a lot of love from your healer if you do decide to do something like that, because they're going to hate you. Just absolutely hate you if you survive it. Okay, so here's a spider boss. Fairly simple boss, guys. It hits like a truck. There's supposed to be an additional mechanic that's supposed to be worked with, but I think they moved it to the heroic version. So what we're looking at here, we got our ready check up and going. We're going to set everything up and get in. You'll see a little tether mark. Alright. Just keep your eyes out. Jumps around, does this little cleave thing. As you can see, it killed the one DK, so this takes a little longer. It jumps behind you. It just starts doing a little swipe thing. We've seen this mechanic multiple times before. Just get out of it. Pay attention. Tangled Web's the other ability. Now, first boss in this place, we wanted to get close when we got joined together. This one, you want to get away from each other as quick as possible and break it. because it's a huge amount of damage. It's almost like Zul'Harrak in Warlords of Draenor. You get chained, you want to get away from each other, break the chains, call it good. Same mechanic, guys. And again, not too special on this boss. The only way that you really end up seeing any major problems is when it comes down to people just not paying attention, tunneling the boss. Blizzard, good job on making it to where people got to pay attention. No longer a tank and spank, stand there, pew pew pew. Pay attention, guys. This thing's gonna do its teleport, and if you're standing there, you saw what happened to that poor demon hunter. It got wrecked, and it got wrecked hard. So we're gonna continue through. Nothing special here. Apparently the other mechanic that's supposed to happen is it fixates on somebody, and you're supposed to put yourself between the boss and the person it's fixated on. It shows it under the normal book. Didn't see it, so I'm guessing they moved it to heroic because it was probably a tough mechanic to go through. But other than that, as a tank, this was boring to me. You can see the gas clouds that are coming down too. Fairly simple, just stay out of the stuff. Just a small, I guess, soft enrage mechanic. You know, you could eventually fill the room. If it takes you that long, you definitely have issues. Alright, so coming on to the trash of all trash in this place. And when I say the trash of all trash, damn, this shit hurts. Pardon my French for those of you that don't cuss, but it's painful. And you'll see my health just goes nuts. I use just about everything on almost every single pull. These Chaos Bringers, you see that Chaos Bolt that it's getting ready to cast? If you don't interrupt that damn thing, it hurts. You got the Portal Argus. It's another ability that doesn't need to be interrupted as much. Chaos Bolt takes priority. Portal Argus, you think it'd be bad, it's just a couple little imps that come out of this portal and then helps you. This guy here, another great piece. He's gonna drop little eyeballs, and you'll see up top the eyeball, and it's got a little green cone that shows the front of it. If you see that eyeball looking at you with that cone, move, because that slicer line gets crazy. These guys need to go down quick, because as you can see, he just keeps dropping more and more and more of these eyes, and they just stack. So if you don't have the DPS, this dude has a soft enrage. It's literally going to get hard and rape you quick if you don't take care of it. Back to the same too. You've got Chaos Bolt and all that. We did end up getting into these Fellblade guys. They grow. They end up doing a lot of damage, physical damage. But being the Demon Hunter, it really didn't seem to do too much just because our active mitigation. Honestly, I think for physical damage is pretty overpowered, but it's great because, hey, we're doing good. They might scale it a little different so mastery doesn't take too much of a play. But again, we are scaled up to an 810 item level. This is the base item level. Got another one of these seer guys, and they're lovely. Wanted to pull them away so we didn't get stuck in that one hall. But a lot of kiting from a tank perspective. Tons of kiting, actually. As you can see, all these little slicer lines are coming through. This is basically, if you think about it in retrospect, that deal right there is basically the same mechanic for heroic Archimon. If you get too many out of there, you might as well consider it mythic Archimon, because they're all going to end up eventually facing everyone. And boom, right there, you can see we died. We had two of those huge Fel Guards, just super overpowered, and I think they end up growing in size and power for every mob that's around them, basically, so they hit harder. And then you want to focus the other items real quick. We decided to go the other direction too, which might have been a good idea, might have been a bad. It takes you right into this general area. The only problem that you have, this trash in this spot is by far some of the hardest trash I've seen since the original, what was the Shattered Hand, I can't think of it. Shattered Halls. Derp. That original dungeon, whenever you're trying to tank it and go through, there's so many places where you can accidentally pull more. And you'll see there's some ads down to the right here that I completely missed, and I pulled the big group, and we had two people that were casting Chaos Bolt on us, and then I had a bunch of little mobs that were throwing newspapers or towels. They're those new little demon models. And see him off to the right. I didn't pay no attention to him, and boom, here we go. I'm gonna get wrecked yet again, just because of this. It's extremely painful, and you can see that I cut back and actually bypassed some of this trash because it was that rough. It took us forever to get that through that little spot because of the way that although there's an additional pack of ads to the left, so the Wrathguard Fellblade was hitting like a truck, and then because they do additional damage per person that's around them, I'm guessing. And then you've got the Chaos guys. They weren't being interrupted completely. It was horrible, absolutely horrible. Same thing with this trash pull. You're gonna see me more than likely cut through this one also. I'm pretty sure I cut through this because you've got these two Chaos Bringers. They're just nuts. And then you've got the guy that puts down the laser eyes, and then you've got two of the ungodly amounts of damage in this. We had no CC except for the monk, and I wanted to show you guys how damaging this really is, how quick it ended up taking us down. I'm doing what self-healing I could, but it took us a few tries to get that pull. Now here we are. This is basically Fel Lord 2.0. He does a cleave. That's how he's explained to me, so I wasn't expecting it. And then all of a sudden I realized there's ads eating my healer. You got the little circles on the ground. You step into those on accident or something, you get knocked back. He does do a knockback, and then you can see the little gargoyle ads. I need to remember to pick those up. But he does the slicer line. That's the first thing to remember. He's got those little traps right there, and basically if you step into one, I think I stepped into one for science, for science. No, I messed up, and I believe I stepped into one on this attempt, which it did take us 2 attempts to get it done. But it puts a shard up just like in the actual Fel Lord fight. Other than that, guys, if you end up tanking this guy to where he's facing away, alright, always tank facing away, stay out of the little swirly puddles, and see that you can see the spike up there right now. And then if you're ranged, just avoid the arc that he does, the purple arc, just like in the Fel Lord Mythic fight. Well, Fel Lord Heroic Mythic, either one of those. I don't know about the normal one. I haven't done normal since release of Hellfire Citadel. But simple fight. Pick up the ads. I wouldn't even say focus on them. They don't hit very hard. And this is the last boss. Most intense boss I've had in a long time. Great event. It reminds me of when they did the revamp on Dead Mines. They did that revamp. You've got that event to where you got to run back. You can see all these little crystals. Basically, they float a little ways and then they end up exploding after a while. So you constantly moving, trying to get to a spot that doesn't have these. We decided to pull it up on this ledge to get rid of it. And then you've also got a high maul effect in there from the last boss. If you remember, he does that little pushback deal, and you got to run through. It comes from 2 different orbs. You can see the 2 orbs, and it's going to push. So I was leaping into the middle of these after I seen it pass just to get through, but you still seem to take damage as you go. And then the other mechanic you got to watch out for is he does this accelerating blast. You'll see that we keep it interrupted. This thing at the end, I do die, but it's because it got up to 12 stacks. He just gets casting it more and more, and this is an event. What he does, 50%, he sends you to a random, and it looks like a boss location in this dungeon, and you got to kill off these ads, all while avoiding the little spiky bomb deals at the same time. And these things are going to cast a de-acceleration or time lock, that's what it is, to get you going. You have 2 minutes to get back, and it's not that hard. But man, you got to be booking it. You got to watch out for the mines. You got to kill those guys, and you want to make sure that you interrupt that time lock. If not, you get locked in place. And we're back to the boss again. You can see we've got those bombs, and trying to run through. You can see the pushback there. That was a first science moment. No, I was too busy trying to keep myself alive to really pay too much attention, and I didn't want to jump in the middle of the 8 bombs that were there. So there's a lot to watch here. This boss took us about 5 attempts before we finally got it, and you can see we actually have a boomkin in here on the last one. we had a demon hunter despawn after the 4th, or DC after the 4th time. Not sure if it was a plug pull or if he actually DC'd, but everyone else seemed to be doing fine, so I'm going to go with plug pull. But it was still a good fight. You're going to see me drop here at this last little percentage. I am completely out of cooldowns. I'm trying everything I've got. Getting away from the bombs. There's just so many of them. And down I go, and I'm like, man, not another damn wipe. And I get pulled up just in time to say, we win! So guys, this is it. The Arcway. Awesome dungeon. It needs some balancing because it's going to be wrecking a random pug group. If you're a casual of any sort, I'm sorry, but currently on alpha, if you get into this goddamn place, run for your lives because you're going to spend a lot of time dying. Thanks guys. I'll end up adding another video up into the right hand corner for you to keep on going. I hope you enjoy it. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe. We've got more coming. Thank you.